The movie Freedom Riders, created by Richard LaGravenese, depicts the true story of how a first-time English teacher named Erin Gruwell changed the lives of her students who had been faced with gang violence and amid intense racial hostility. Gruwell's students hated one another for no reason other than they thought they were supposed to because of gang histories and stereotypes. The purpose of this movie is to inspire students to take on opportunities that allow for them to reach their full academic potential and seek a higher education through putting aside their racial differences and working together in aspiration for a better future. The filmmaker's perspective of the media is to inspire students to take an interest in their education and the planning of their future no matter their race, living circumstances, or level of education that they possess. As media has a large impact on the construction of public belief, attitudes, and its relationship to social change, this movie can be seen as a great educational influence to help gain an understanding of the importance of inclusion and the positive impact it can have on the lives of people around us. Media can serve as an important resource for providing society with national conversations about race and racial inequality that causes impairment for people in their everyday lives. This movie explicitly depicts the many barriers that the underprivileged students face on a day-to-day basis as a result of the racial gang violence they experienced. The continuous scenes where the teachers look down on the students and do not bother to put in effort in giving them an education can be seen as a barrier for the students to reach their full potential and the overall impairment of their future. The teacher's dislike for the students due to their history gives them stereotypical reasoning to see any slightly bad behavior as a strong reason to call them troublemakers who cannot study. It leads them to reach the decision to not provide many resources for them to learn, as they believe the students are not smart enough and are too irresponsible to return the books without any damage.
Can't make someone want an education. The best you can do is try to get them to obey, to learn discipline. That would be a tremendous accomplishment for them.
The betrayal of stereotypes within the movie can be seen multiple times, as the students have grouped themselves with their own race, creating white, Hispanic, black, and Asian friendship circles. This itself is a stereotype of how people, or in this case of the movie, gangs stick with their own kind. When Erin asks the only white student in the class to move to the back with the other black students, he becomes frightened and begs the teacher to not send him back there. This is stereotypical, as black people are not fond of white people and therefore affects the mentality of the student who is sent to sit in the back with the people he is scared of. This racism continues as the students are rude to Erin because she is white due to their past experiences. For example, a Hispanic student whose father was framed and sentenced to jail by white people argues with Erin about how the white race are terrible people. This is stereotypical in society and creates the effect of hatred towards this certain race. Racial stereotypes can not only be seen through language but also through images. Due to the segregation and hatred for one another, an extremely offensive and racist drawing of one of the black students with overly large lips, as usually stereotyped by society, was drawn by one of the Hispanic students. When the student sees the drawing of himself, he becomes extremely distressed and clearly affects his self-esteem as he puts his head down in shame. As Erin sees the drawing, she compares it to the offensive drawings that were one of the reasons that caused the Holocaust, which illustrate Jews with large noses. Erin also mentions a black man in her statement, as she refers to the racist drawing of the black student and describes to the student that this offensive drawing is part of one of the generalizations and stereotypes of black people. Media has been known to have a large influence on how people learn about each other, yet countless studies demonstrate that media continues to reproduce ethnic and racial stereotypes with often harmful effects. This movie allows the viewers to see the effects of racial stereotyping on the lives of young students and how a changing perspective can positively contribute to a better understanding of how we perceive one another. This media piece can be used within a classroom as an excellent learning resource to educate students on the importance of an inclusive community and the positive effects it can have on their lives. Towards the end of the year, the students give toasts about how their lives have changed for the better due to Erin's positive and inclusive environment that has provided many learning opportunities for them to reach their full potential.
I walk into the room and feel as though all the problems in life are not so important anymore. I am home.
Studies show that inclusive systems provide a better quality education for all students and are instrumental in changing discriminatory attitudes. As media plays a large role in education, it provides students with the ability to gain useful information and valuable knowledge, such as analytics and insights on various topics or issues. It is important that we teach our future students to not segregate from one another, but instead to unite as one community to hopefully change society's standards on how we view and treat the people around us.